Hey, I want to talk to you guys about really regaining some time back in your life. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda. Although I'm not drinking coffee today, I am drinking chlorophyll water, which is fantastic. So anyway, I wanted to talk to you about gaining your time back, gaining your life back this morning. As an entrepreneur, one of the things I think that a lot of us face is that we have a drive, a sensational drive that a lot of people don't have, and let me even go back to this. Even when I worked in corporate America, I was the first person in the door and I was the last person who left. And so there's an ambition and a drive with entrepreneurs that it's funny because when we get into the same room together, we feel this expansion of acceptance because we accept each other. Where a lot of people in our lives actually think we're crazy because of the way we like to work or the way we feel driven to make an impact in the world. And this morning I was sitting thinking to myself, well, actually, I've been thinking about this for a while now. Why grow bigger, right? Why grow bigger? I know this may sound crazy, but even this morning and yesterday when Ash and I were driving around San Diego, we bought ourselves our first 2 paddle boards. Living in San Diego, I felt like we needed to have paddle boards so at the end of the day, Ash and I could go paddle boarding and have it be one of those fun things that we could do as a couple. And I learned that from the sake of it's really easy to get depressed or feel like your life isn't that fun if you don't actually plan for fun. So that's a fun celebration to share with you guys. But still, I've been in this dialogue like, why grow bigger? Why grow bigger? Why grow bigger? Why grow bigger? And this is really actually a self-worth conversation. When you get that you matter so much, you continually find the reason to grow bigger, right? Because it's all about service. But when it's all about us and it's all about your tiredness, and I'm going to talk into eliminating tiredness and gaining some more time back in your life so that you can grow an incredible business. When you guys see me look over here, it's actually because I'm looking at Instagram, just FYI, just acknowledging them. But growing bigger is a selfless act. At first, it's like, yes, you want to make enough money so that you don't have to worry about money anymore. And that's where I come into play. It's so funny that I can help you eliminate your challenges around finances to either just make enough money so that you can pay for everything and you have an overflow, or have a crazy overflow because money isn't hard to make. Creating wealth is not hard to make because there's people around you that can take your money and create wealth with it, like my friend Alex Arriaga. So none of these things are hard, but what's hard is actually getting you to do them. Like, people message me in my inbox all the time at Hardcore Business and on Instagram, and they ask me to help them grow their businesses. And I'll say, okay, well, you got to come up with $1,000, right? You have to come up with $1,000 or you have to come up with $2,000. And they'll stop there and say that they can't do it. And don't get me wrong, because I remember there was a time in my life when I was losing my car, I was losing my home. And if you've been following me, you already know that story. But that was a real spot. I remember looking at my bank account, I legitimately didn't have any money, right? So if somebody said to me I had to invest $2,000, for many, many, many years of my life, I would have said I can't. And that's why I stayed stuck. Until that one day, that no longer was God giving me the opportunity to get in for $2,000. It was now $21,000. And why did I get over that hurdle inside my brain to figure it out when I was in a much worse financial situation than I ever was? And I really believe that we get tired of struggling at some point. At least it would be a blessing for you if you did. Or you can live underneath your means and you could really optimize your life for the rest of your life. So I've been in this dialogue, which is, why grow bigger? And at the same time, I was saying to Ash, God must really trust me because I'm creating stretches inside, and hear my words, creating. I'm creating stretches inside my business right now that is crazier than I've ever done in my life. And the reason is you. The reason is because I get that what I know matters to people, because I remember laying in my bed and I remember being in a shitty relationship with a guy that was talking to somebody else who I thought was the boy next door. and thinking, really, is this all there is for me? And I remember what it was like to feel mad when I had to pay a bill. Have you ever felt that way? A bill comes in and you're pissed off, you're mad. Like as if the cell phone company did something bad to you. You were the one who went and drove up the price of the bill, but it's their fault, right? You know what I mean? I felt mad. I felt mad when I had to give. I felt mad when I had to spend money. I felt mad when I'd get a bill. I felt frustrated when people were going on vacation, and when I'd go on vacation or I'd buy some makeup for myself, I remember feeling frustrated that I spent too much money on myself. I remember those days. They weren't that long ago. It is a effing miracle my company makes multiple millions of dollars every year. I pinch myself. It's crazy. But there's only a few things that I've done to be able to create that type of freedom. But yet I'll get people in my inbox saying, Shanda, help me. Help me. Help me grow a business. And here's my situation of all the reasons why I can't pay. And by the way, this isn't about you paying. This is about the mindset that I'm trying to help you unhook from so that you can get there. If you're not giving in the financial way, even when you don't have anything, you are actually praying for a miracle that probably isn't going to happen. Because I don't know anybody personally that's won the lottery. I am not saying it can't happen to you, but I actually don't know anybody who's won the lottery. And so what I've known is that people get noticed in programs because they show up with positive attitudes. People get noticed by influencers because they're positive people. And people get ahead because they put in the right work and focus on the right thing. And so at some point you have to make a decision that you're going to do whatever it takes, whether it's give up your home and live on somebody else's couch to be able to get ahead. And yes, I did just say that, because a life of financial struggle is not a powerful life. The Bible talks about this. I mean, I just read this whole scripture on how the church put Jesus to death. Well, no wonder we have some issues with religion in this world. However, the Bible talks about the breakdown in the church, but still is still about church, right? Find a good leader to follow and follow that leader. And then here's what you need to do inside your business to be able to gain some time back. There's two main challenges that I did really well at the beginning. I solved really well at the beginning. And then I fell into a problem with this and struggled with it. And then now I'm getting back on top of not struggling with it anymore. The first thing is it starts with the fact that I made a rule that I do not speak business after dinner time with my husband, with my clients. I made this rule. And it's been a powerful rule in my life. And whenever I've broken it, I've ended up so far away from center, meaning that balance, center, focus. Whenever I've broken it, I've opened up, I've cracked the holes in my boat to sink. And what happens is that the minute I start responding to clients or talking business after dinner time, what happens is my clients start texting me, my clients start emailing me, my clients start sending me stuff that is not my 5% of things that I should be working on. They start impacting my space because I broke open the holes and didn't hold the discipline of my rule. Okay, so you fitness people know this. You probably have some sort of rule around how you eat, right? It's no different in making money. It's no different in managing, or I don't even think you can manage time. It's about where do you put your priority? And your priority should never be family or business. That should never be a choice you ever have to make. I mean, I said to my husband when we first got together, you can never ask me to choose my business over you. If you ask me to do that, you're choosing out. That's not me choosing out, but you're choosing out. Because there should never, ever, ever be a choice between your purpose and your business and your love life and your family. They should be able to fit really beautifully together. But you have got to get things off your plate in order to have enough time. And what I've realized is when I started my business, I had a rock star. Her name was Laura. And Laura was like my integrator, meaning that I had the vision, she got it done. And I know this sounds amazing, like everybody wants a Laura, right? Yeah, but I did something really well. I disciplined myself to not do the things in the areas that I wasn't good at, honestly, because of just ignorance. I didn't believe in myself enough to do them. And so I just didn't do them. And here's the truth. You can figure out anything. If I wanted to go figure out how to run Facebook ads, I could spend my time doing that. And I never, ever got into that because I knew better that I just should not do the things to chase money, but I should do the things that I'm really good at and hire somebody to help me. Now remember, I had nothing when I started. So you cannot tell me that you can't hire somebody. The goal is that when you hire somebody, you make enough money throughout the month so that you can pay them. It gives you a reason. It closes a back door for you to show up. I said to my husband yesterday, I said, you know, if your family wasn't there and I wasn't here and you just had the kids, right? And you had to show up huge to take care of everything. What would you be showing up the way you're showing up today in this day? Right? Would it look like this? My point is that when we create enough of a reason to move forward, when the pain gets enough back here that you have to show up today, you will. When it's still not strong enough back here, guess what? That's where procrastination, perfectionism kicks your ass. So I know you may think that it's hard enough right now, but if you're not showing up, you actually haven't hit your rock bottom. And let me tell you, you don't have to hit rock bottom. But here's what you need to do. You need to figure out what you're really good at. So what I'm really good at is coaching, positioning, strategy, everything under strategy. I can go into your life and I can figure out what you should sell. I'm just really good at it, right? I can see where your strengths are. I can tell you what to sell. I can tell you what you're going to be the happiest doing inside your business. And so much of the time people don't believe me. And then 2 years later, they do it and they're making insane money and they're loving what they're doing because they're not copying somebody else thinking this is what I have to do to make money. If you make money your reason for doing things, you will always fall short because you're serving money, not God, right? So whenever you do that, let's just say money in spirit, money in your heart, right? If you are serving money and making your decisions out of money, then you have got a real bigger problem, because your faith isn't strong enough, right? So start a spiritual practice, go to church, start reading the Bible. You got to get something bigger than you to rely on because you actually think you're the power in your relationship and you're not. God is, right? So every great idea comes from this space up here around me, around you. I mean, where did these great ideas come from, right? Like you didn't just think like, an idea you've never seen before, right? They're floating around and you get them, right? No, God's delivering you a message. And here's the deal. You lose inspiration because you haven't set your life up to gain enough intimacy and time to move it forward. So you're going to have to let go of something. And it's going to be money. You're going to have to let go of some money to be able to invest in your business, to be able to get there. Even if you don't have money, you're going to have to let go of money to be able to grow, which means that you need to put your focus a little bit degrees to the center and only focus on that thing that's going to create more cash flow. And if you're interested in being trained around that, in the description, there is a URL. I don't know what it is, actually. It's helpmeshanda.com/live. Help Me Shanda. My name is S-H-A-N-D-A. Helpmeshanda.com/live. On Thursday, I think at 3 p.m. Pacific, I'm going to do a training around that part, right? Around what you need to focus on specifically in your business to be able to grow wealth, freedom, and all of that stuff. However, here's what I want to leave you with today. When I started, I had Laura, and Laura did all the things that I didn't know how to do, which were the techie things, which allowed me to go focus on the thing that gave me survival, which was sales. And even though I didn't know how to sell or what I was selling and never done it before when I started, I still, if you only have one thing to focus on, eventually you get good at it. And you get good at it pretty quickly if you have to put food on the plate, right? So however, if I was trying to focus on what Laura was doing and what I was doing, my company would sadly never get off the ground. And I definitely would have gone and gotten a job at that point, for sure, without a doubt. Okay, so the second thing that I did was I had the strong enough discipline to not try and go do Laura's job. So I had a strong enough discipline to never send out emails. I had a strong enough discipline to never spend time hyperlinking my links in my emails. I was disciplined enough to never go post my blog. And even though I had no money, Laura did that stuff for me while I focused on building my audience, my email list, and selling to it. The two of us grew $1 million business together. Then what happened is Laura hit her capacity inside my company and she went off and did her own thing, right? And I have been hiring people constantly since then to actually replace her. I found one woman who was amazing. She ended up going and having a baby and wanting to be a stay-home mom. And then I've continued to grow people inside my company. Here's where it broke down for me. As I grew, and I suspect, I'm suspicious that some of you guys are doing this inside of your lives and your business. I started micromanaging things because nobody was doing their job right. They were incapable, they weren't doing their job right, and things were always getting screwed up. Here's where I'm going to call myself out. That was not their fault. Most of my people, it was never their fault. It was because I would go in there and I would take things over and I would start doing them, which then eventually my life got so busy that I couldn't breathe throughout the day and I was working all day and into the night. That is nothing to be proud of. And I know people actually talk about this, how they're so busy and they always work. And if you're still like that in 6 months, you should feel embarrassed about still talking about that, because it means that you haven't stopped and really strategized or hired somebody. You haven't let go of control. And you want to feel embarrassed about that because that's just a stupid thing to do long term. And I'm sorry to be so crass about it, but I want you to feel stupid about working that much. I want you to feel stupid about that because I want you to stop doing it. Right? So here's the deal. I have learned this and it's important. If you have somebody on your team that is not performing, look at yourself and ask yourself, are you giving the right details to them so that they can go do their job? And then are you holding the line? My assistant recently just sent me flights to look at, to approve flights. I don't need to approve flights. That is not my job. It is not coaching. It is not strategy. And it is not presenting. Those are the only 3 things that I should be doing inside my company. Coaching, because that's where I provide the most value for people on the planet. That's how I use my precious time to be able to make a big difference in the world. Where do you use yours? Where are you most valuable? Because that's going to make you the most amount of money. And that's also going to create the most amount of meaning, right? So if you want to stay fired up, I could listen to success stories of my clients all day long, and then I can want to work all night long. I won't, because remember, step 2, you have to have the discipline. And the discipline is your rules. And you should not have 20 rules like some women have with finding their soulmate, right? Like, don't have 20 rules, right? Have your non-negotiables that create a life that is important to you. Create a life that really works for you. So my main rule, I really have one main rule, which is I don't speak business after dinner time. And as long as I keep that rule, I'm good, right? If I start breaking that rule, what will happen is the text messages will start coming in. One of my partners inside my company, Michael, he was text messaging me yesterday on a Sunday with some, conversations about our meetings this week. And I responded back to him and I said, I love you. You're amazing. I know you work on weekends. I don't. I'm sitting at this great, amazing, healthy restaurant with my family. And here's what I would recommend. If you want me to create an agreement or a meeting with you, you can message me early Monday morning. I'm at work at 5 a.m. and I'll be done at 4. And so if you want to message me in between that time, I can figure that out. Otherwise, you could just go to my assistant, Nadia, and book that with her. Now, he's a very important person in my life. Very important. I learned this in real estate, you guys. Real estate agents work 7 days a week and they all work weekends except for me. I worked Monday to Friday. And so I hear this all the time. I can't do this because of the nature of my job or the nature of my life, or I don't have the support. You have to stop being stupid. And know that I'm choosing that word on purpose, not to insult you, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to actually have you rewire your conversation around bad strategy and bad time strategy. Can you imagine if you only did the areas of your life that you're most valuable? Well, a couple things. You get that you matter. You will definitely get that you matter, because quickly the world will mirror back to you how amazing you are, because you're spending time in the areas that you're most valuable. Secondly, your employees, your vendors, your virtual assistants, anybody who's helping you, including your family and your friends, will know how to treat you because you are the constant in their life with your rule. So then you got to keep your word to that rule. And the minute you break it, you cannot blame people for coming in to your life and taking up every ounce of your time. That's because you have broken your rule somewhere. So figure out what that is for you. And then, like, when emails come to you, send emails back to people and tell them to figure it out, right? Don't make decisions that are not your decisions. Empower other people to make those decisions for you, and stay in the area that you're best focused on. Tomorrow, I am going to talk about emotional triggers, because emotional triggers are taking people out of their business. You're getting frustrated, you're getting overwhelmed, you're getting pissed off, pity parties, super excitement, like over-the-top excitement. All of these things can really impact the power of your company growing faster and impacting more people. Business has nothing to do with how you feel. I'm going to prove that to you tomorrow, and I'm going to talk to you about how tomorrow can be an extraordinary day if we can manage your emotional triggers. Okay, so here's my homework for you today until Coffee with Shanda tomorrow morning. Instagram, I will be on Coffee with Shanda tomorrow. Often I can only do it on my Facebook page because sometimes I have people come join me to help. But it's about 20 minutes every day, starting at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So over the next 24 hours and before you go to bed tonight, ask yourself, what is the one thing tomorrow that you absolutely have to accomplish to make you feel like it was an extraordinary day? And I want you to then increase that result by 10%. Meaning that whatever you said that thing is that had to happen, I want to stretch yourself 10% past that. Like, extraordinary is not in your limits of what you think is possible. Extraordinary is like, fuck, like you can't believe you accomplished that in a day. And it's called getting into a zone. I mean, my whole event is about this. It's about getting into a zone that creates extraordinary results that last a lifetime. So I'll see you on Coffee with Shanda tomorrow morning. If you want to be trained by me this Thursday, I have a free training. It's on helpmeshanda.com/live, Live, helpmeshanda.com/live. All right, you guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Mwah.